This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey book friends, I'm your host Danny, and I'm the one going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, and Chad Welsh. Before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Gabrielle Vanderlaan to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your support and your amazing generosity. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 1 of The Fires of Heaven.
Yeah, so we're only doing the one chapter, Fanning the Sparks, because it's pretty long.
It's a good one, though. And I feel like we're just going to have so much to talk about.
Yes, yeah. It's like there's 46 pages in the bigger version of the book. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and I always kind of feel like it's a bit of an extension on the prologue.
It does, what is the difference? Somebody tell me, what is a prologue? What is the difference?
It's like a warm-up to the book. It's great.
Yeah, but I feel like this chapter was also the warm-up to the book, like the actual events with our
Okay, I'll give you an actual answer. I always feel like the prologue is more of like the little side characters who have a storyline versus like the regular cast. Yeah. And that's why this kind of feels like that, because we've got a bunch of different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. And it actually reminds me, especially starting in that Min perspective. Yeah. It takes me right back to chapter 1 of The Shadow Rising, which didn't have a prologue. So chapter 1 kind of was the prologue.
Exactly.
And even back then, I was like, this could have been the prologue. I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
What's the point? Yeah. Somebody please tell me.
So we're doing the one chapter, and then we are going back to the 2 chapters per episode.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. We're going to stick to it until we don't.
And now, before we even get into a fun fact, we have a correction.
Oh, no.
Something to make up.
Okay.
You know this is coming.
Oh, right. This. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, I remember now.
Okay. So, WereHobbit on Twitter pointed out that at the end of The Shadow Rising, in the very last episode that we did, one of us said something about Lanfear being somewhere 3,000 years ago.
Yes.
And apparently that's some kind of Lord of the Rings reference.
It is, yeah.
And so we owe them a
Lord of the Rings shot. Awesome. Okay, so just to put in context, so Elrond was the one who was there 3,000 years ago when Isildur had an opportunity to throw the ring into the fire, into the lava to destroy the ring.
Now that's the elf guy, right?
Elrond is the elf guy. Yes. Isildur is the not elf guy. He's the man.
Yeah. No, I meant the one who said, I was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's like remembering that event, and it's like technically we can blame the events of the Lord of the Rings on Elrond for not like stopping Isildur from doing what he was supposed to do.
Just like someone could have stopped Lanfear from destroying the Dark One's prison.
Totally.
3,000 years ago?
Yeah, maybe. Same. Close enough.
I was there! Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I like corrections that are like references to Lord of the Rings and not me just making mistakes.
Yeah,
that's good.
I saw you go, oh no, but then you remembered.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to start us off? With something good, I bet?
Yeah, I have a good fun fact. I was just going to mention that I already see the bottle of liquor and the shots lined up, and I don't know what they're for. I don't know where you could even have a reference in this chapter, but I guess we'll see when you get there.
Mm-hmm. You will. You will see.
Is it like soon? Is it late?
It's later.
Okay. All right.
It's later, and I don't know if you remember this, but last time I said, when I was reading, I had a Harry Potter reference.
Right.
And I couldn't remember it when I was doing my notes.
Yes.
I remembered it this time.
And you fit it in.
Oh, yeah, it fits.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, fun fact. This one's kind of neat because it's something that I was personally interested in. So, I had to kind of dig it out. And it's the historical significance of oaths. Because we get the fun little tidbit about the women being oath breakers, basically. Yeah. And I had to figure out where oaths come from, why it's such a bad thing to break them.
Well, it's kind of like giving someone your word.
Yeah. And I want to see if there's more to it than that. And there's a little bit more to it. So I got some fun facts for you for that. So to understand what an oath is, it makes it a bit easier to understand when you compare it to a vow, because a vow is just like a personal promise that you make, and then the oath is the next step up, where it's a personal promise made, but you do it before some institutional authority. So when you take an oath, you assume an obligation, and then you also become liable to prosecution if you break it. So,
Doctors?
yeah, exactly. So the oath serves as a guarantee to what you say. So it's like the same as a vow, but a lot more severe. And then oath swearing is very ancient, and it's found all over the world, like independently, and it's often found in religions too. So, fun fact about the etymology of the word with oath: in various languages, oath is typically similar to words for fate or curse, or as like a question or statement put forward to a god. So basically an oath or breaking an oath would be seen as, bringing a curse upon yourself, or bringing a terrible fate to yourself, or being punished by God for breaking that oath.
Okay, which is interesting too, because in this series,
Yeah.
when someone utters an oath,
Yes.
it actually refers to swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get that funny tidbit with Min, who's like, oh my god, only a dark friend would break this oath. So there's more weight to that too. Because it's like, oh, is there actual punishment from the creator for doing this?
Right.
And then last part, that is also important, besides like, don't break your oath, there's a strong societal impact, especially in the more ancient times when communities were, smaller or more tightly knit, because society was typically built off of like an honor code or a reputation, and your reputation was very important. So you could find yourself literally on trial or imprisoned or exiled from your community if you were seen as someone who always broke their word, or if you were an oath breaker. So especially with evidential standards, if they weren't exactly the best, it's like my word versus your word. And if you're known as an oath breaker and I'm not, then people are just going to take my word for it over yours.
Fair.
Yeah. And that kind of makes sense. So it's like, don't keep breaking your word. It's not good.
Right. And just to bring it back to current, like modern times.
Yes.
It's the Hippocratic oath that physicians and like doctors take.
Yeah, we've talked about that too.
Oh, I remember the whole Hippocrates, and was that the thing with the symbol, the like snake and
that's the one.
The symbol?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where like swearing oaths are like in court.
Yeah.
And when you take a position of office, like a politician, like there's oaths all over the place for that kind of stuff. It can also be an oath or an affirmation, which is where the word affidavit comes from. Like it's an affirmation.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Boom. Fun facts.
That's a good fun fact.
There you go.
Okay, so before we get into chapter 1, last time we covered the prologue, and in that prologue we had a Forsaken surprise party.
We did.
We had an Elida meeting with the Aes Sedai.
Yep.
And then we also had an introduction to Fane's new plan.
Yeah. Being BFFs with Elida in the tower, apparently.
Yeah, they both want to find Rand.
Yeah, they're going to use each other mutually.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a good relationship.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Okay. So in chapter 1, it's called Fanning the Sparks, which is cute as a little continuation.
Yeah, to the prologue, which was the first sparks fall, and now we're fanning the sparks.
All right, starting the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting the fire going.
Bet you're curious what the next chapter is called.
Big fire.
The fire's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it has nothing to do with the fire. Okay, so we also get a chapter symbol, which is the, like, Camelin lion?
Yes.
Or Andor lion?
Andor, yeah.
And I went, ooh, Camelin?
Yeah.
But also we're in Andor, so...
Yeah, mostly that too.
Yeah. So we get our classic intro paragraph.
We do.
Now, do you remember? Have you been...
No.
I've been keeping track.
No, I know that you have, and I intentionally... I've not been. I told you last time that I haven't and won't be, so it's not going to happen.
Okay. First book, Mountains of Mist.
Okay.
This is where the wind is rising.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Mountains of Mist.
Yep.
Second book, Mountains of Doom.
Okay.
Third book, Mountains of Mist again.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You said that last time.
Probably, yeah.
How do you not remember?
I got more important things to keep in my brain.
They were like in the Mountains of Mist at the beginning of book 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then book 4, the Carlane Grass.
Okay, Caroline.
Caroline Grass.
Yep.
And then this one, Bramewood.
Bramewood.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good memory, I guess. I mean, I can't verify that. Like, I have no idea, but I assume you're right.
Yeah, it helps me to remember where the start of each book was. And it helps me to distinguish events between books.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now.
That's a weird way to do this, but that's okay.
Well, I bet I'm not alone.
No, probably not.
All right. So we get the typical beginning of a book tons of description of the settings.
Yep.
It's actually painted as a very nice picture. I like these descriptions. They're growing on me.
Also, if you haven't realized, it's really hot and there hasn't been rain. And we got that last chapter too.
Drought, yeah.
Which is probably not a good thing, so.
Oh, maybe that's why there was a fire.
Ooh, interesting.
Because all the hay and everything.
Everything's really dry.
Everything's really dry.
Yeah,
so the lantern, poof, everything's up in flames. Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. It works.
Okay. So, it took a little while, about a page and a half, before we learned that we are in Min's perspective.
Yes, it does take about that long.
All right, and now...
and we're also in Core Springs right now.
Okay, Core Springs.
Yeah.
And this is somewhere good.
Yes, it's
on
somewhere
the map. It's somewhere on the map.
It's in Andor.
It's in Andor.
Yep.
South of Tarvalon.
Yep.
North of Camelin?
It doesn't really matter.
No, it does matter. I don't know where this is.
Okay, it's just Core Springs.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
But it matters to me, like, where they've traveled and where they are in relation to other places in the world. Like, did they go straight south? Did they go off to the west? Did they,
Okay.
Does it matter?
It's medium.
It doesn't matter.
I might offend some people who really want to know where Core Springs is, but it's like medium important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They're somewhere. It's pretty much nowhere land.
Yeah, so my whole rule is if it's not on the map, it's probably not that super important, and it's not labeled on the maps.
I wish it was.
Yeah, I know. I wish you knew every single little town and village, but ultimately it's like medium.
Okay. So we got Min, Siuan, and Leane all here, and they're in some kind of trouble. And let me tell you how confusing this was.
It's very, because it's like, wait, why are they?
And it's written really like they're already locked up and
in a shed with a guard.
They're awaiting persecution or awaiting their trial.
Yes, yeah.
And then we sort of get Min thinking about the recap of what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't understand at first where they are or why.
So you gotta read through the chapter, then read it again and be like, oh, so they're under guard right now because of all the things that happened.
Because of all the things that happened.
Yeah.
I definitely had to go back and reread it.
Yep.
And it makes a little more sense. So yeah, they're in their shed. They are waiting for the local lord to act as a judge to hear the complaints against them.
Yes. And notably, Logain is not here.
Yeah, okay. So I definitely picked up that Logain did something and took off, leaving them behind. And I thought, "Gah, Logain!
How could you do this to them?"
And I shook my fist in the air.
No.
And
it turns out he was the good guy the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly, but that's how we're going to tell the story.
Yeah. Okay. So the charges against them, to make things less confusing for everybody else, Farmer Nem,
yep.
Admer Nem.
And his entire extended family.
Yeah. Had their barn go up in flames.
Yep.
Killing their cows.
Yep.
Logain punched him in the face.
Assaulted him, yep.
And then stole his money.
Exactly.
And in the tussle, his lantern got knocked down, and that's how
the barn got burnt on fire and burned down. Yeah.
Logain escaped in the confusion, leaving Siuan, Leane, and Min to be captured. And we also got a note here. Let me tell you how upset I was about this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say?
Probably.
I thought he stole Bella.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh.
I thought you were going to be super upset that as the family was coming out after they captured the 3 women, they were bringing out ropes and eyeing trees to literally hang these 3 women on the spot.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, the Nems were out for blood immediately.
Oh, no, that's bad. What I picked up on was that Logain took off with the horses.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, Bella. Bella's been through the freaking ringer.
To get stolen by Logain. Come on!
And I was like, no, not Bella.
Yeah.
Don't worry, she comes back.
Yeah, so anyway, that's why they're all locked up in a shed, because they got caught. They're waiting for the local lord to act as judge.
And that's when the local lord, their guards happened to come by.
Yeah.
When the barn went up, everyone's like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And they didn't get
Gotcha.
hanged.
Okay.
So that's great. Plus, turns out they have checked every little village from Tarvalon to here and found nothing.
Yes. So
and now what are they looking for? Blue Aja?
Yeah, they're looking for all the Aes Sedai who, like, left the tower.
Okay.
That's basically the
plan.
plan.
Because that's who would be on their side.
Yeah, so when we left them in the Shadow Rising, Siuan was like, we gotta go find all the missing Aes Sedai. We gotta go connect with them and make a plan and then go get back at Elaida and get justice. Whatever. So that's like Siuan's kind of plan. So they're searching for Aes Sedai they can reconnect with.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so Siuan thinks that a penalty for burning down a barn in Andor should be like a strapping if they're lucky.
Yep.
And if not, then a flogging.
Yeah. So do you know the difference?
I wrote in my notes, difference, ?
Yeah, difference. So, okay. Fun facts.
Getting hit in different ways.
Yeah, harder with more severe instruments. So flogging is like whipping or beating with a stick, and then strapping is like a lesser version of that. So yeah, flogging they're both bad.
See, the word flogging
makes
funny. Me think of like a sex thing.
Yeah, it's a funny word.
Yeah.
Flog.
Yeah, well, it's like the whole like BDSM.
R is the most menacing sound, and there's no R's in this.
And the FL is the funniest sound.
Fl and g.
Yeah,
Flugging.
It doesn't sound like menacing.
So to make light of like torture, that's what it is.
Or just, like torture, or like pain for fun. Funsies.
Yeah, whatever works, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, Siuan and Leane are taking this way better than Min is right now, too.
Yeah, they're like, whatever. They've been through a lot, I think.
Yeah. Well, they already got, like, literally tortured by Elaida. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
She was, like, out for blood, and she wants more blood. So
they've also gone through being novices, being accepted. They accepted testing.
And it's like beatings are apparently a regular occurrence.
They're like, whatever, we'll get over it. It'll be so fast to get just like hit a little and then we can leave.
Then we can go.
That's best case scenario. And Min's like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah. Well, and again, considering the fact that the Nems were going to literally like murder them, that's a thing that gets brought up like 3 or 4 times this chapter.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So we also get that they're using fake names.
Yes. Okay, so funny thing about the names.
Well, okay. Number one, they've been using these fake names since they met Logain. Logain doesn't even know them.
Logain doesn't know them, yeah.
And they tell Logain, you should use a fake name because you're like the freaking...
Correct.
False dragon.
Yeah, you're Logain.
And so he's the only one who thinks that he's using a fake name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe, like, he might think that they're using fake names, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem stupid to me, so...
No, he doesn't seem stupid. He just, like, he doesn't really care, and he's not asking questions.
Yeah.
And we kind of get his, like, monologue at the end, where he's like, yeah, it's good. But,
okay.
So I just have to say that I love the names, at least that Siuan picks out, because it's Mara, and we've heard of the name Mara before.
Yes.
It's Mara and the 3 Foolish Kings.
Yes.
And I can just, because Mara's like the
smart one.
Super smart one.
Yeah.
And then I can see Siuan being with Leane and Min and Logain. She's like, I'm Mara and these are my 3 Foolish Kings.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
okay.
And then we know that Min gets Sarenla, which we get an answer to later on. But I didn't have anything for the other 2 names, but...
Yeah, it probably means something.
It could. I didn't dive that far into it.
Because even Siuan was like later, she's like, well, maybe in the next village you can have a different name that means sweet girl or something like that. Right? So I just picked up on that maybe they were just regular names. So Mara is like Maria. With the I missing.
Yeah.
And Sarenla is like Serena with an L added.
I like it.
And then Amena.
Yeah, Amina.
Yeah, and then Dallin. So
yeah, there might be a funny story
like,
there.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe dive into that if I've got time. So we'll see.
All right. So Min notices Liana is up to something.
Yeah, she is.
So she's been sewing her dress so it fits a bit tighter.
Yep.
And then she digs out a box of paints and powders that Loras gave to Min as she was leaving.
So funny, yeah.
And then Min is like, I've been meaning to throw those out.
Yeah.
But I think that she likes it a little bit. I think that Min didn't get around to throwing it out because I think that she actually started to like dressing up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And so now Liana starts getting herself all done up. And there's a bit of a conversation about what she's doing and why.
Yeah, and that's the whole Damani thing.
Yeah, and so now the word Damani is the exact same as the word Damane.
Yeah, it's like a little bit different. So those from Era Doman are Damani.
Damani. With like
Domani.
Damani. With
Domani. And then Damani is...
Damane.
Yeah, Damane. Yeah.
The Shanchen Damani.
The Shanchen Damani.
And the Era Doman Damani.
Exactly. So she's using her
I hate
skills.
That. I hate that so much. You know what? Robert Jordan never intended anybody to talk to each other about this.
Like in your brain, it looks so different.
So different.
But it's like the same pronunciation.
Exactly the same.
Oh, terrible.
Spencer and I, we just did a bonus episode with Spencer yesterday.
Yep.
And when we were talking about what we were going to be doing in the bonus episode, she kept saying, you know, like the Damani. And I was like from Aradomin? And she was like, no, the Shanchen. And I was like, there's no Shanchen in Damani right now. And it was like, oh man, it was so confusing. The whole conversation. So that's why I had to bring it up again here. She's
okay,
like,
so back to Liana's craft. So,
yeah, because Min goes, oh, what? Do you mean to take up flirting?
Yes, professionally,
and she
actually.
Goes, yep. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for my life fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's going to be my new passion in life.
Well, and I mean, she kind of says that because when they pry a little bit more, it's like...
It's the freaking culture.
Yeah, it is. It is the culture of like the Damani, the Aradominers.
The women to flirt their way through life.
Like professionally, though. And I appreciate that because it's like if you flirt with the right person, if you use the skills that you have, do it. Because you can, you know, further yourself. Like, why not?
Own it. And it's not like it's a secret. Even Gareth Bryne later is like, she's a Damani, but she's kind of weird with her flirting.
It wasn't very good. It's like she just took this up yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's exactly what she did.
Today, actually, yeah.
Yeah, but I love her mentality is like, if she flirts with the right man, maybe we can skip the strapping altogether.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like a pretty good solution.
But then turns out if you flirt too good.
Yeah. So, hold on. But also, I just want to kind of point out that Liana's not saying this is like the new thing for her forever. It's like, this is enough to fill the hole in my life right now. It's a temporary solution.
Yeah, because Siuan is like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. Like, she knows her very well.
Yeah.
Turns out. And she's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so the difference is that for Siuan, her entire focus right now is just revenge. And for Liana, that's not enough.
Yeah, she's like, I don't actually care that much.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I want some revenge, but it's not my passion right now. If we get it, great, but it's not doing it for me, so suck it, Siuan. Yeah. I need to put some makeup on and pull my tits up.
Yeah, it's like life number 2 is going to start now. So put it all behind you.
Tits out for the boys.
Let's do it.
Turns out.
Bend and snap works every time.
Well, good one.
There you go.
Yeah. I do, at first when I read this, I had a little bit of trouble with it.
Okay.
But...
in what sense?
Well, it's a little troubling. That this is their culture. Like, they just, like, her mother and her aunts and are all merchants, and they know how to, like, swindle a good deal by, like, pushing their boobs up and batting their eyes at men.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little troublesome for me.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that too.
But she's also just freaking owning it.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, if you're gonna get swindled because boobs pushed up, then that's kind of on you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Like, it's.
Yeah.
I mean.
I know. Yeah. I'm okay.
I get why it's. By
the end, I was like, all right, whatever.
Let's go with
Fuck it. So we're just going with it. But I do like that she was never very good at flirting. And she was quite young when she ended up going to the tower.
Yeah.
So she never really grew into herself. And now she is like an attractive, full woman.
Yeah.
And since she got stilled, now she's back to being young again.
Yeah.
So she almost gets like a redo.
A redo on whatever it is. So
that like she was taught about her whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to talk about the like, don't go too far with it situation?
I mean, if you want to, again, there might be some, it's just kind of interpretation.
Because she considered practicing flirting on Logain, but then was like, oh, what if it went too far with him and I don't know how to get out of that one.
Yeah, so it's like it's troublesome because I can understand the viewpoint of like not wanting to go too far because you might be playful, but
you
it's
either
also
grab your dignity and run away,
yeah,
or you just deal with it.
Well, and it's kind of funny because you could read that aunt's advice of she's just like, suck it up and have some fun, where it's kind of like she embraces the sex part of it and has fun with it, and that's also like kind of empowering that she can enjoy it and have fun with it.
Yeah, because her mom is like, oh, you just have to take it as a lesson, grin and bear it. And it's like, well, that's worse.
Yeah, that's definitely worse because then we're getting like diving into like the darker side of it. But yeah. I prefer to read it with the intentionality of like the aunt likes to have fun and
She's
you
like,
know,
or you just enjoy it.
do your business. And then the whole Logain part is like, we're also implying that Logain is like an evil person that would, you know,
Take advantage
of someone like that if she said no
I think
and
that
didn't
they all
want
have
to.
a skewed version of Logain.
100% because he's a man who can channel. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like false perceptions going on here.
Yeah.
That do start to get switched at the end of this chapter too.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that.
I don't think I've talked about this, and I want to right now before we move on, just so I don't forget.
Sure.
But because Logain could channel,
Yeah.
and he didn't like die right away, and he was able to obviously have some control, like some crude control over the power.
Sure.
He was able to build up an army. Like, do you think at any point, and maybe you actually know the answer to this, and so this is really a rhetorical question,
That's okay.
but did Logain at one point truly believe that maybe he was the Dragon Reborn?
Possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you totally possibly could, because if you're told that a man who can channel and who's powerful is going to save the world, and then you kind of start fulfilling those things.
and then he like came up with a plan. He's like, "Oh, I've got this like group of followers.
Well, it's kind of like what
Call
Rand
them people
did.
of the dragon,
Yeah.
and let's go to Tyr."
But it's like literally what Rand did was like, oh, if I'm going to be the Dragon Reborn, then I have to go to Tyr and get the sword or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
and it turns out Rand actually is, so it worked out.
And it works out, but for Logain, he's not, so it didn't. But it was the same thing that was happening.
Yeah, and so it doesn't make him terrible or evil or awful or scary.
No, it doesn't make him inherently
It
evil.
actually makes me feel even worse for him because he thought that potentially he could be the guy.
Yeah, and if he was the guy and he has these followers, then he has a responsibility to go and try and save the world in whatever fashion that
and
is.
even with Rand being the Dragon Reborn, it sparked a bunch of war already.
Oh, yeah.
So like, why is that war
Like,
different than the war he started in Gildan?
It's not different. It's probably the same, at least
and
a
then
little
he
bit.
just like
So
got captured and gentled, and then like he just wants to kill himself. Like, I just feel for this guy, and
Yeah.
I'm super pumped about this storyline, and it makes me
yeah, so it's changing perspectives. Logain
Yeah.
is not inherently like an evil person
No.
at all.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that my initial instinct about him
Yeah.
was to like him.
Good.
And now I'm like really on that train.
Well, I mean, and the first time we actually saw him, he was in a cage being dragged through
and he
Andor, and he was like laughing, ha ha ha.
laughing.
Yeah,
Oh, because he could channel and maybe a little crazy.
maybe a little crazy. We don't
Ooh,
know.
we got Rand doing some crazy laughing.
Well,
Oh, good. Ooh, tip
Yeah.
it,
Oh,
tip
yeah.
it.
So-
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's move on though,
yes,
because
stuff happens.
we're gonna learn something really good here. So, a villager man comes in to open the shed because it's time for the women to stand before this judge. Time to go see Lord Gareth.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you,
Yeah.
right away,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, oh my gosh, is this Gareth Bryne?
It's Gareth Bryne.
And it turns out it is. And I was
And-
actually proud of myself for picking that up.
And he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Ah!
He isn't.
Because it kind of threw you off when we first got that, because we got that Gareth Bryne was retired
Yeah.
to his estates, and it's like, oh, does that mean he just got friggin' murdered by
I
this
thought probably.
terrible Lord
I thought
Gabriel?
something was going to come out where we do find out that he died. Like, I'm really always on the side of if we don't see them die, they're not dead.
Yeah,
But I really thought we were going to end up finding out that he's dead.
it kind of made sense, because especially knowing now that Gabriel is like Ravine,
Yeah. I
like
thought
that makes it way more plausible that he would just
for
like
sure.
straight up murder Bryn.
I thought that he was going to straight up murder Elaine. So
Yeah.
what the hell's the difference here?
Yeah.
Like, I thought Morgase was going to end up getting rescued and then try to find Bryn and then find that he was dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. No, he's
not,
here.
He's not dead yet.
He's here, and it's a sad, sad life for Gareth Bryne.
It
So-
is. It's so sad.
So they get to the inn called the Good Queen's Justice,
Which is great.
and all the villagers are packed in here, looking like they're out for some blood. This is probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened here,
Yes.
and they're here for it.
And the problem is, Min has seen a crowd like this in a village once before, and it was at an execution.
yeah, the feeling she got.
Yeah, it's like, uh-oh. But again, this was because they almost got executed already.
Yeah, they want them executed.
Yeah.
So Lord Gareth Bryne is judging the case. Excellent. I like that he's here. I like that he's alive. That means there can be some kind of reunion. I don't know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Min thinks she recognizes the name of the Captain General of the Queen's Guard.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense because she's from Bearland.
But
so...
she's not sure if this is the same guy.
Yeah.
It is. It's the same
It's
guy.
100%. And I love right now we can see that Siuan is like, she's got her eyes locked on the floor because she for sure has met him before.
Oh, yeah. I was actually at this point wondering, how well do these two know each other?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but,
so apparently not very well, but...
Yeah, so we're all ready for trial. The formal charges are presented to them.
Yep.
Trespass, arson, destruction of a building, killing livestock, assault on a person, and theft of a purse of gold and silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of funny because like when you read that, you're like, oh, that's totally just thrown in at the end. And it's like,
No
oh,
way.
it was missing after the fact? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Except turns out
there was definitely.
There was definitely a purse missing.
It's such a flip-flop. It's
I
so
know.
funny.
I know.
And we kind of, just the way the chapter's written too, it's like, this is where we start getting the full story of everything that did happen.
Yeah.
After a few retellings of the events.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we have Farmer Nem
Yep.
giving his testimony, which starts out pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then as he goes on, gets more and more and more exaggerated.
And it's like every time he's going to retell it, it's going to get worse and worse
like,
and worse.
Like at one point, Logain is a foot taller than he actually is. And then the next time, now Nem is winning the fight.
Yeah, it's like an actual like fist fight battle. And it's like Logain totally just knocked you on your butt.
He just like literally punched you in the face and you fell down.
Yeah, 100%.
Or maybe, yeah, because he's got like a bruise on his eye or something. But like,
yeah.
Anyway, so now it's time for the women's defense. And Leanna's like, my time to shine.
Yeah.
And she swaggers up, batting her eyes and all.
People who have charm and people who don't. Guess which type she is.
Charm type.
Charm type.
Nice. Okay. So the story is, they're three helpless
it's so
women
funny.
refugees. They're penniless and lost, and they took shelter in the barn. And this man, Dallin, was a stranger, and he offered protection because, you know, helpless women must have protection.
Yeah, and I love the fact that during this, she's like touching him and like feeling his pulse, basically.
Well, she comes over and rests her hand on his
she
wrist.
Like kneels before
beside
him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's like terrible in
I
so many
like
ways.
it. It's funny. So, because like if you're gonna be that easily manipulated, you deserve to be manipulated.
That's what I'm saying. You kind of deserve it. So
yeah. So she goes on, he was the one who did all this stuff. So like we might be guilty of sleeping in the barn.
Yeah.
But please have mercy because we didn't do anything else.
He did the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad plan, honestly. Like it's pretty good.
It's probably accurate.
I mean, come on.
Well, not the whole, oh, we're penniless refugees and we relied on this guy, but they probably just slept in the barn.
Yeah.
They got caught, and Logain was
Punch
probably
him in the
like,
face.
punch him in the face, let's all run away. Logain runs away, and they don't.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when he like fell down, I don't even know where the
And he was probably like, come on, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Because she got away with all the horses.
Yeah.
It's like, what were the three of them doing?
I don't even know. Now that we...
Like maybe trying to make sure that Nem didn't get burned alive in the barn, dragged him out or something, or like who knows what actually happened here, but
yeah, because it sounds like they were already outside the barn.
I mean, and if we look at the speed at which the women go to check on the driver, Joni, later on, it's like that's for sure same incident where Logain conks him on the head.
Oh yeah, I know.
And then he's like, "Let's go." They'll find him at some point.
We have to go now. But yeah, at this point, it sounds to me as the reader that Logain caused this diversion to get away from the women.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's what I thought was happening here.
Yeah,
I thought Logain wanted to somehow sneak away and get away from them so that he can escape and go do his own thing.
Yeah.
I thought he used them to get out of Tarvalon. I was actually a little bit disappointed with Logain like leaving like this.
Yeah.
But I think that it might have been like they all got caught and they were all supposed to run away, and he did. And he thought maybe they were going to come meet up with him, like he had all the horses, and then they like got caught.
And now he's like, okay, now I got to save them.
Now I got to save them. And he does. And
he does,
which, really redeems him.
Definitely,
at this point.
Yeah.
So, Leanna's really working the flirting, and then Bryn goes to speak with Min.
Yes.
Who is like, I'm Min.
Serenla
Min. People call me Serenla. Don't worry about the Min. Just call me Serenla.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
so good.
He thinks her name is funny, which we get a tidbit later that it actually means stubborn daughter.
Well, it's kind of like the whole Zareen thing.
It is.
Where the names
I
mean
like
something.
how
so.
meanings have such strong names in this series.
Yeah.
Like
names have such strong meanings?
Names have such strong meanings.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Other way around.
Means have such strong namings? I did not say that.
Meanings have such strong names. It doesn't matter. What you meant to say was names have strong meanings.
Yes, I like that.
Yes.
I'm definitely somebody who appreciates a good name meaning.
Yeah. And also, everyone just has a bunch of issues with the whole, like, fake name business. Like, come on, people.
I know.
Let's get a little bit better at this.
I know. So, she follows with Leane's story and says, yep, all that guy's fault.
Yep, he did it.
And then Bryn goes to speak with Siuan. She doesn't add anything to the conversation. She, like, whispers her name. Like, she sort of changes her voice a little bit, which at first I didn't get, but later I get.
Makes sense.
And she stares very defiantly right at Bryn. And it's like, now, Siuan,
what's the plan here?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And so Bryn has reached his decision.
Yeah, he does it pretty quick, but I mean, this is how things are judged back in the day.
So he awards the farmer the cost of rebuilding his farm, plus the cows, plus a silver mark for getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
And he'll replace the cost of the stolen purse.
Once everything's accounted for.
So don't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I do love this because this Carolyn woman is the woman who basically ran his estates for all the years he's been gone, and she's the one in charge of, like, figuring out the actual amounts of money owed.
Yeah.
So she's like the insurance adjuster who's, like, going through the claim process.
Oh yeah, and she's like, okay, well, some of your some of your milk cows were going dry.
Yeah, it's like gold and silver, really, in your bag of money. Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the deal is, the three women will work for Bryn at normal wages until the debt is repaid, and if they swear oaths that satisfy him, then they can work in the manor house.
Yeah.
And if not, then they have to go out to the field.
Yeah, where they'll be under guard, basically.
Yeah, it's like, if I feel as though I can trust you.
Yeah.
In my house.
Yeah.
Where I don't, anyway. So this is that whole oath thing, and Siuan straight up goes for it.
Oh man, like the strongest one she can
top
think of.
One.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Did you write it down?
No.
Oh, okay.
Something about I'm not a dark friend. Let the light take me if I'm the worst.
Yeah, basically you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to write it down.
It's good. You got to remember that for future, like in real life.
For like trivia?
It's always good to have a couple of oaths on hand. No?
Nope.
Okay, just me? Okay, cool.
No, I'm just gonna, like, if anyone's ever like, take an oath right now, I'll just, like, make it up.
Okay. Just go with what your heart tells you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like the fact that breaking this oath is probably the equivalent of murder in men's eyes.
Well, it's the equivalent of being a dark friend.
Yeah, it's like if you break it.
Which is, like, worse than murder.
Probably, yeah.
For, like, this world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the oath works, so it does a trick.
Yes. Because Leane follows suit, says the same oath. Min pretty much has to do the same as well.
Yeah.
But she's so pissed off because she thinks to herself, I have to get to Rand.
Yeah.
And if I take this oath now, well, I have to stay here and work off this debt because I'm not breaking this oath.
Yes.
This is like the most serious one.
But it turns out that, yes.
We're just
there's a loophole.
Yeah, because now she thinks, I've sworn to stay here for how long? And it surprises me later when she's like, this'll take 2 years of work.
Yeah.
That is incredibly shocking.
Why?
I don't know. I thought like a couple weeks.
How much do you think a servant makes to rebuild a barn and repay 6 cows?
I really don't think I read everything through. I was like, yeah, they'll work off their whatever.
It's probably a couple years of work.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Especially because he's like, once your work is done, you're welcome to stay. So I thought like a month at most.
Okay.
Because it's like after 2 years, you live there now. Of course you're welcome to stay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
not
let's
really.
talk about it in 2 years from now.
But that's the point of Bryn offering them to stay is because, like, they are just 3 women who are in, like, why are you running away? You're such an odd party of people.
Yeah.
What's going on? So he is nice and he offers them for that they can stay after the fact, too.
Yeah, because he does say a Damani, an Eridometer.
An Eridometer.
A Terran.
Someone from Tyr.
And someone from West Andor.
Yeah.
And Min's like, I'm from Barrelon.
I'm Min from Barrelon. Yeah. Serenla.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but she's like, oh, I bet no one knows Min from Berlon.
And also, like, probably not.
Probably no one knows
Yeah.
you, bud. But anyway, so then we get that this Carolyn, who's like basically Bryn's right-hand lady,
Yep.
comes back to tell Bryn that it's going to take a few days to straighten things out with the Nims.
The story keeps changing.
Yeah, and so Bryn says, okay, get these women sent off to the manor. And they end up going with the big guy named Joni.
That's the guy who collected them.
Yeah. Who gets them in the cart and they go off to the manor.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward on the exit.
Yeah. So now Siuan, Leane, and Min are in the back of this cart. Min is just furious.
Oh, yeah, so mad. And this is the whole, like, it's going to take 2 years. Why did you promise to, work it out? Like, why would you choose that oath?
Yeah, and
like,
Leanna's like, ooh, it was super exciting to put my new skills to the test.
Well, it's funny, too, because, like, they're also so used to being Aes Sedai where they can't lie or any of, like, they're so used to bending the truth.
Yeah, she was like, this is so fun. I can just outright lie.
Yeah. It's so good.
She's like, ooh, it was so fun to feel his pulse racing.
Hey.
My pulse was racing. Ooh, it was so great. And Min's like, this is the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I hate this.
So it's also really funny, too, because we get the whole age comparison about the difference between Bryn and these women, because I'm probably jumping the gun a little bit because we get it from his standpoint of, oh, like, these women are so young, why are we chasing after them? But Siuan and Leane aren't.
They're not young.
They're not that much younger, if at all, than Bryn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, they're probably
and,
roughly
maybe
equivalent.
Older. Like,
and
I don't
maybe
even know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like the age difference, if at all, is not that much.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. Okay. So she's like, Siuan, what the fuck, man? Why would you use that oath? And Siuan says, well, I had to choose it because then for sure no one would be watching us. Like, he would trust us the most using this one, and that's what we need right now.
Yeah, and then it dawns on Min that's like, oh my, you mean we're gonna break this? Oh, like what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except
sort of
loophole.
Yeah, because like we'll just like wait a few days to make sure we're not being watched, and then we'll leave, and then like we'll come back in a few years probably.
Yeah. And I appreciate the technicality here because she intentionally didn't say, oh, I'll start serving you immediately.
She just said, I'll serve you.
Yeah, and then Liana's response to it just being like, hey, it's a couple years down the road. You never know what's going to happen, right?
And she's like, maybe I'll be so good at flirting by then. He won't even take us in, and he won't even care that we left.
Yeah.
He'll want to take me for his wife or whatever. She's like...
Keep in mind, they also are well aware that the last battle is like coming up. So like who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Let's delay this a couple, years or decades or whatever.
Yeah, because Liana's like, it's a future problem.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it. Future Leane will deal with that.
She's way better at handling this kind of stuff,
So then, all of a sudden, the cart, like, lurches and picks up speed, like the horses are starting to gallop. And I have to say, at first, I thought, oh no, like, what's happening now? Like, I didn't think of this as a good thing.
Okay.
I thought Joni was still in control and, like, making the horses run because they're being, like, taken somewhere.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
None of that.
Like, my radar's always off for, like, anything that's going strange. So
danger.
Exactly. always that's what's happening. So they pull the canvas aside to see what's happened. Joni's gone. And so Siuan grabs the reins to stop the horses, and Min opens the back curtain to see back on the road is Joni passed out, just like laying on the road behind them.
Yeah, so it's important because like apparently the road they just went through was like through a thicket of trees.
Right.
So that's why Logain was able to like ambush Joni.
So they go down, they go see Joni. He's got a big like gash on his head.
He's not dead,
it's
and
like
that's
a
important.
rock. I thought like a rock was thrown at his head.
Which is basically what happened.
Yeah, it's like it knocked him right out.
Yeah.
So we get that Joni's not dead. And they're like, oh, what do? We should bring him to the next farm. We should...
It's like, ladies,
we should help
come
him.
on.
Should we just go? And it's like, you're already in the worst way.
This is why they got caught in the barn.
Yes.
Like, this is literally why.
Because they're going to stand around talking about what they should do next.
Yeah. It's like, get on the wagon.
Yeah.
Get going.
So then, it's Logain, and I just think, oh, good.
Yay.
Like, big smiley face.
Yeah.
I'm so relieved.
Yes.
Because I was sure, like I was trusting my gut on the liking Logain business.
Sure.
And here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and
I'm
he's got the
happy.
3 horses. It's all good.
Oh, good. Bella's here.
Yes,
That
she's
was
here.
also the next thing I thought.
Phew.
Because I was very concerned.
Yeah, we're not just gonna lose Bella in some random village.
No, well, I thought Logain would, like, keep her, and then, like, eventually we'd get back to her. But I was
yes.
like, what, though? Because he doesn't know us, but not even, like, at least Min sort of knows.
Yeah, like
That
this connection
Bella's
that Bella's,
special.
like, good people, so.
Yeah. So, Logain tells Siuan that she made promises, and he intends to have his revenge.
Yes.
You thought I was just gonna leave you? And so...
Yeah, so this is the thing, too. Like, if Logain legitimately wanted to leave, he could just leave. There's nothing that these 3 women could do to stop him.
Mm-mm.
So he's not being held against his will by any means. He's here because he wants to be here still.
Yeah.
And he's not asking questions. He's not asking them, like, who they are. He's not asking how you're going to deliver on this promise. He's like, you have a little bit more time, and then if you don't deliver, then I'm just going to go.
Well, because he's starting to feel like their plan is a nothing plan.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah. And also, like, I can see in his mind, like, he doesn't have a better plan yet. So until his plan supersedes theirs, he's going with it.
Yeah.
He's like, this is good enough for now.
Yeah, and then we get a recap of Min's viewing powers.
Yes, we
like
do.
how she can do stuff.
In case you forgot.
In case you forgot, because we are at the beginning of a book.
Yep.
In case you forgot.
And it's been a couple years, probably.
Yep.
So.
And so Min sees the viewing of the halo around his head, the radiant crown of gold and blue.
Yeah.
Glory to come. And I just went, I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We did our Q&A.
We did, and we talked a lot about that.
And somebody asked the question, what do you think that means?
Yes.
And I gotta tell you, I think he's going to somehow get his powers back.
Yes.
That's like way down the road after they figure out how to make men not go crazy.
Yeah, and I railed against that because, again, why does a man need to channel to attain glory? That's my viewpoint on it, so... I mean, we've talked about this a few times.
No. There's no way. No.
You were more accepting of this opinion when we did the Q&A.
Rand has another, 12 books to go or something.
Something like that.
Less than that now.
Yeah.
10 books? How many books? 9? 8? Oh my god, I don't even know what book we're on.
It's 5, there's 14, it's 9 books.
And it doesn't matter. He's got so many books to go, and we've already seen snippets of him starting to go a little off his rocker.
Sure.
And I just don't think there's any way that Rand gets out of this series.
Sure.
Without them fixing that somehow. I think that's, the main goal for, that's my main goal for him for this series.
That's the main goal?
Yeah.
Not, winning the last battle?
No. That's, before that happens, Rand has to not be crazy.
Oh, okay.
He has to be able to channel, and he has to not be crazy.
Hey, I'm just saying that in a fight, crazy can beat big. Just
yeah,
saying. It's like standard rules of fight.
Like breaking the world crazy.
Crazy beats big.
I guess so.
So.
I know what you're saying. But
okay.
For me, for the character that I don't need Rand to just be so crazy that he blows himself up. I don't know. Maybe, but it doesn't matter. I think what actually is going to happen, they're going to figure out a way. Rand's not going to go crazy. That means him and Logain can be buddies, and they can somehow, Logain will be some kind of king or something somewhere.
Oh my god.
That's what else?
A whole bunch of stuff. Okay.
That's a very literal interpretation of him wearing a crown.
It is.
So, glory to come.
Yeah.
Maybe Logain pairs up with Lanfear.
What?
Lanfear's all about the glory. That glory word?
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like that prediction.
Well, they'll all be in it together. Brother husbands to Lanfear.
Logain
Rand
and Rand
Logain,
with Lanfear?
brother husbands.
Okay, we're going to put that one on the board.
So much glory. So much glory. Okay, just joking. I, of course, don't think that's real. Okay. Where were we?
Okay.
We're so off topic here.
We found out that now Logain did, in fact, steal some coins.
Steal some coins. Probably not gold and silver, though.
No, probably not.
And so he'll hang on to them, though, so the women don't abandon him.
Yeah.
Which is such a funny twist from the beginning of this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
To, yeah. what I originally thought. Now he's like, no, you guys don't leave me. I came back for you.
Yeah.
And so now it's time to officially go. There's a flock of sheep and some boys headed their way.
Yeah, and they're going to find, like, unconscious Joni.
Yeah, so he'll be fine. And so Min asks if they think that Bryn will come after them, and Logain doesn't think so. He's starting to take some charge now.
He is, yeah.
And Bryn might send a man with their descriptions to spread the word. You know, they're not important enough to actually chase down.
This is so funny.
But Logain doesn't know the oath they just swore.
He doesn't. But also, even if it was this oath, there's no reason logically for them to be giving chase after.
This is the only thing that's ever happened here.
That's the thing. Like, there's so many funny things that happen to make this so that the women now have, like, what's going to happen next. But it's so funny.
Yeah.
In no other universe would they ever be chased down.
No. That's true.
Like, Logain's act is correct in thinking he might spread
Except
your description.
That it's like all of the seeds were planted along the way for this like perfect
thing to happen, to be like, yeah, let's go get him back.
Yeah, so, which is quite funny.
Okay, let's get into the next perspective.
Well, I want to talk about just one quick thing. Siuan is bad at horses.
Oh, she is. Also, one little thing we did not talk about. Min was thinking about Rand. And she was thinking, he doesn't even notice me. He doesn't.
Oh, yeah, lots of that.
Yeah, so lots of that stuff.
Lots of that. And, you know, you're in his dreams naked, so...
You are.
So it's safe to assume he's thinking of you.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, perspective change.
Yep.
To Gareth Bryne.
Yes.
It's the next day.
Yep.
And he's getting ready for a journey.
He is.
Because they've discovered the women are gone. And it seems like he intends to, 100% track them down.
Yes, 100%.
So, he needs something to fill the empty hours.
And that's it. That's all he's going for here.
Yeah, and we find out, now this, I have to tell you, was a surprise to me.
Okay.
That Gareth Bryne is originally from here.
Yes, he is.
I know. This is where I found that out.
Okay, yeah, this is his estates.
His estates.
Yes, that's like the family.
This is where he
family
was from
Bryne, yeah.
Before he went off. Like, I thought that maybe he was, like, exiled from Camelot, whatever happened there.
Yeah.
Right? And then he was just sort of wandering. He, like, took some refuge in this random village. Yes. And then because of his experience and his background, he's, like, raised to, like, lord of this village.
Yeah, like, no.
It didn't even cross my mind that this is where he's from.
Well, this is probably how it usually works, out in the country, is that each village has, like, their, big house that's where you're from. And that's how, when you think about, like, Morgase becoming queen, she's House Trakand.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like your house is a bigger house, and there's, like, the big houses, the little houses, the medium houses, and every house has different influential amounts, so... But it's really funny because Bryne goes, like, from literal, like, Captain General of the Queen's Guard for, like, 3 queens he'd been serving, and now he gets forcibly retired and sent back to his estates.
He should be lucky he's not murdered.
He's very lucky that he's not murdered or, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's got nothing better to do than go and do this.
Okay. So, Carolyn tells Bryne that if he had set the women to work off their debts with Nem, he wouldn't have to do any of this right now. And it's like, thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, but he also thinks, like, I wouldn't have changed my mind anyways because the Nems would have just, like, either harassed them to no end or just murdered them.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I'm not changing my opinion on this.
The Nems are terrible.
It's bad people, so...
So, Carolyn doesn't think that they can be found. They're, like, a day and a night ahead. And Bryne is an old man who, like, can't track them down. I don't know.
Well, Bryne has old man Thad, who's like over 70, and he can track him.
Oh, that guy's gonna track him, but Bryne can't? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, again, it's the whole Carolyn's like, there's no point in chasing after these 3 women. You don't have
to go yourself.
Like, you don't have to do this. There's no point in doing this. Why are you going? Because, it's just like so funny what's happened.
Yeah, I think that he's hung up on the swan thing.
He is. Well, a little bit.
Yeah, because Carolyn is like, all right, fine. Go get these women, bring them back, and then marry the pretty one.
Yeah, the Damani girl, Leane.
Yeah.
And then Bryne's like, that's the one that she's got her eye on. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Carolyn's been like trying to set him up because, again, we get that little reference where Gareth Bryne doesn't have any heirs.
Yes.
Doesn't have a wife, doesn't have any children, because Bryne had that whole like little shenanigans with Morgase, We saw that from Elaine's perspective.
Yeah, not shenanigans. That's
Well,
the wrong word for that. I know what you're saying.
It's a little bit of the right word.
They sort of had a connection.
Elaine literally said they should marry each other.
Married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and maybe there was a little bit of romance, but, other people got in the way, like Tom.
Yeah.
Perhaps. So.
Yeah. But it's interesting that we get this very specific... House Bryne has been around since Arthur Hawkwing's empire collapsed.
Yeah.
But now he's the last of the blood, no wife, no children. The line of Bryne ends with him.
That's so sad.
No, it makes me think, I bet not.
Ooh, it doesn't end with him.
No.
Okay.
That's a very specific thing, and I just went, no.
No, okay.
No.
Okay.
Nope. He's gonna have a little Bryne.
Just have a little Bryne to continue the estate.
Yeah, the question is, with whom?
With whomst. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Okay, go with who? Whom?
Yeah, so my obvious, I want to say like Morgase.
Okay.
But she's like, I know she's older, so it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Morgase? Okay.
Because like they're supposed, like.
She's got a couple kids.
Yeah, and so like that might be like funny.
Okay.
That's the only thing that makes any sense right now, unless it's someone I haven't met yet.
Okay.
Who becomes a character. You know what I mean?
It's not Liana?
No. No.
Okay.
No. Min.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Min. Swan.
Yeah.
Could
well,
be Swan.
I mean, again, how old is she?
Yeah.
Can she have children? We don't know.
Well, maybe if she's reverted back to being like 20-something.
We don't know enough about what's happened to answer that question.
Yeah, it's not Liana. I don't know who it is.
It's not her.
Not Liana.
Okay.
It's probably someone we haven't met yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Swan.
Or Swan. Okay.
No.
Why Swan?
I don't know.
I mean, he does have that whole like,
because
it's the eyes.
Because he's thinking of her.
Okay, but yeah, so
he's thinking of her so much here.
I kind of get that, but it's like the eyes,
it's
and that's
mostly because this is the person who's here with him right now.
That's but think of it this way. So he's kind of connected to the eyes of Swan. He's like, that's the person I can't stop thinking about. But that's also because we know that they've met each other before.
Yes, I know.
And it's like when you look at the eyes of
and
someone,
like,
you might recognize it.
And I hate that so much. I hate when you see someone and you're like, where do I know you from?
I know you. Where do I know you from?
The worst thing is when you're watching like a movie or a show and you see an actor that you recognize.
And you're like, oh, that person.
And you immediately need to like IMDb them.
Yeah, like I can't
to be like, where are you from? Where are you from? I know you. Where are you from?
Yeah.
But like in real life, it's also
a thing.
It happens
and
too.
I can't just like do that. So
yeah. Okay. So he's like, I need to know where that woman is, and he wants to know why she broke her oath.
Yes.
That's what he's looking out for, and now he has some purpose in his life. So he has put together 20 men to help find these women.
Yes.
All are as old or older than he is,
Can
all
I-
experienced soldiers.
Yeah, can I go on a rant here just real quick?
Like a quick one.
Quick one. Okay, so this is, like you said, a bunch of old vets who are trying to relive the glory days.
Because they all
rather
clearly
than,
fought in the Aiel War.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like served with him or something like that. So this is 100% like an RJism of something that he had seen or had seen happen with vets returning from a war. That's all they knew. That's all they did. And then all they do is go and talk about the old days or drink their pensions away. And this is giving them some sort of purpose that they want to go after now too.
The glory days.
And not necessarily the
Yeah.
glory. Glory is probably not the right word for it, but it's like something that they know and they're good at, and they want to go and do that again to just get away from them.
No, that's what like old, washed up, like people who are really good at sports in high school.
Yeah,
And then now they're like 30, 40 years old and they relive the glory days. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the saying, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 100% like that's
Although
an
this
RJism
is probably
to
a
me,
little
so.
more intense than that.
Yes, yeah, like just with the war and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
So then we get a man showing up
yeah,
named
Barum.
Barum.
Yeah, Barum.
Okay, and he arrives to ask if he's been called back to Camelin.
Yeah.
Because everyone's lining up, all ready to go.
It's like you got 20 guys here. What are we doing?
Yeah, and he's like, no, don't talk about that with me.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how bad I was at reading.
Okay.
So, in case anyone, didn't know this about me,
You don't read.
I'm not very good at reading.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at
Okay, so just tell us whose boobs were out.
No one's boobs were out this time. That was the best non-good at reading situation. But let me tell you, I thought that this guy showed up confirming that Gareth was called back to Camelin.
Oh my god.
So-
yeah, that's not what happened at all.
Can I see?
Sure.
So it says, "You've been recalled back to Camelin, my Captain General?"
Yeah.
And I thought it said, "You have been recalled back to Camelin."
Oh. So it's like you got to go back to Camelin.
You gotta go to Camelin.
You gotta
I
go
thought
to
he's
Camelin.
riding up. He panted. He's like, "Run! You've been called back to Camelin. You gotta go."
Don't go chase after those girls. Go to Camelin instead.
And I was like, "Oh shit! This is gonna be so good."
He's going to go save Morgase. Oh my god. Nope. None of that happened. That's so funny.
Because, like, I haven't heard from Morgase since The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah, long time.
Like, I didn't 100% know what was going on, and then this guy runs up. "You've been called back to..." No.
It's like perfect timing for it.
It's
So
like
none of that happened.
one word out of that sentence.
He's just
makes
literally
it-
here to tell us like world events.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get better at reading.
You do. You got 9 more books.
It makes for good
quality
you know,
content.
quality
Yeah.
content. Anyway, so he's here actually to tell Bryn some news of world events. And first of all, now some of this is old news. Like, why is this just reaching them now?
Well, considering it's a dude running to tell Bryn,
Yeah, but I feel like this whole "the Stone of Tyr has fallen" business.
word doesn't travel fast to all parts of the world. There's
know.
no postal service set
How
up.
did he get
We've
all-
talked about this.
I know. How did he get all this information all at once? It just, like, it a little bit irks me. I feel like news would have traveled here.
Okay.
But
It didn't.
it didn't. I think that this is just more convenient for the plot.
Okay.
It's like makes for more interesting conversation.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
I think that it would have got here already.
You can have your opinions.
And I do have that. So, Tyr has fallen. The Aiel took the stone and the sword that cannot be touched.
Has flat been touched.
Yeah, has been drawn, has been taken. Someone drew it. Someone named Ren or something.
Somebody. That's so funny
Yeah.
too.
And Bryn thinks this is super confusing because he's like, an Aiel would never touch a sword. And he, like, saw that.
Yes, he was in the Aiel War, so he knows that they would rather die than touch a sword.
Yeah.
So,
And so we get the next piece of news, which is...
hold on, but it is
Oh.
important to note that Bryn does understand what it means that the sword is drawn.
The prophecies are being fulfilled.
Yes, like he understands 100%.
And
that
then
means
he's
like the last battle's
but
coming.
maybe it's not actually a sword, so that's why an Aiel could draw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next piece of news: Tarvalin has a new Amerlin seat, and it's Elida, who Gareth Bryne knows very well.
Very well, yes.
And also, Siuan was stilled and executed, and Logain died too.
That's that news that we saw that Elida was spreading.
Yeah, jeez, right?
And have you seen Siuan and or Logain or any of them? Have you seen them around?
Have you seen them around? Nope.
We killed them, but have you seen them?
Right.
Yes.
No. Yeah, but Gareth Bryne literally just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just thinks all of this just means trouble for the world, not trouble that actually affects him.
No.
Where he is right now.
But it is important to know, too, because he connects the dots on all this, and he's like, the only thing that's really going to matter is where House Bryn stands.
Yeah.
Like, what side of all these events, like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Because people are going to be for and against them.
Yeah.
So
let's see where this goes.
Also, he doesn't really trust the tower any more than anyone else does, too.
Ah, fair.
Yeah.
So this Barum sees the adventure ahead and is like, "I got all you guys lined up. I want to come."
Yeah. He doesn't ask, like, where are you going? Like, why? Like, how long?
Nothing. He's like,
Doesn't
"Yeah,
matter.
let's go. Time to head off to find the women and get those answers."
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
So, yeah.
Okay, so perspective change to who?
Yeah. Okay,
And
I was
I
hoping
went,
you'd say that.
And I went, "Oh yeah, okay.
Who's this?
Okay.
So it's
This
kind of
is the
funny.
lady.
It's so funny because it's High Lady Altima.
Yeah,
And
the one
I
who
bet-
straight up tried to murder her husband.
I bet there's other people who are reading this for the first time and you're like, who is this?
Yeah, but
like, I
we
recognize
get
it.
Like in when we get into it, we get it.
But yeah, it's like the subtle stuff. So can I highlight a couple important stuff, like pieces of information here for us?
Absolutely.
Let's recap. Okay, so Altima is the wife of the High Lord Tadosian of Tyr. He's the one that Tom was writing secret notes about to expose the affair that Altima's having with the High Lord Carleon. So Carleon and Altima were banging, and then Tadosian straight up killed Carleon on a hunting trip, and then he became mysteriously sick, after he returned, and Altima said that she was going to either stay with him until he recovered or he died. And then that was when Rand was making his big speech in the Stone of Tyr, and he tells Altima, the Tadosian, is going to stay with her enemy Estanda.
Oh,
so
that
her husband
bitch.
goes off. Yep. And then Altima is supposed to go and take the Terran troops to Kyrian to help negotiations there. And that's when she like faints because it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. And then Moraine thinks that this move by Rand to send Altima to Kyrian and send Tadosian with Estanda is a bad move because Altima is going to be able to gain too much influence in Kyrian and is going to cause problems. So she might have to put her own plans in place to get her murdered, basically.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
why is she rolling into Andor?
To meet with Morgase.
To meet with Morgase. But let's go into this. This is so good.
Okay.
But
so
that's
why
who-
is
that's-
she here? She fled here. She's like looking for
She
help.
abandoned ship.
Okay.
She's looking for help to reestablish herself because basically, like, her lover got murdered. Her husband, she hates him. She doesn't want to be in Kyrian, so she's trying to reestablish and marry someone rich in Andor and become a new High Lady of Andor.
Good plan. Good plan.
It's not a bad plan. Like, it would have gone better if she hadn't have been
that
like,
Rand is gonna be mad.
yeah,
Okay. So we have Altima at the end of her gold.
yeah. So she's basically broke now.
Yeah, so she's been able to get away. So she's here to meet a powerful woman who hopefully will be her ally so she can reestablish herself. She's here to meet with Morgase.
Yes.
Okay.
And we also have like half a page of Altima just being terrible to the serving people. And she like slaps the wrist of one of her serving, and she like the serving maid's almost crying.
Yeah.
And then she like fakes being nice in front of the other servants so that they can see how kind she is. Like she's just the
not
worst
great.
person.
She's not great.
She's at the end of her gold.
Yeah.
She fled here with as much gold as she could carry. She doesn't have any more, so she's hoping to marry someone rich.
Okay. So our friend Talonvor shows up.
Yeah,
And
love
now,
him.
yeah. Have we talked about on the podcast how I think that if anyone, you know, people say like, who would you play in the show?
Oh yeah, Talonvor. Yeah,
You should play Talonvor.
I should play Talonvor.
Yeah.
It's a big role.
It's a good one for
mean,
you, I think.
I show up once every. Actually, he's shown up like 3 times.
Yeah. I think he's like,
Couple minutes on screen. I like
I think
it.
he's a little bit quick-witted. I think that, I don't know, I like picture you when I picture Talonvor. He's like
that's
a young,
nice.
he's like a younger
I appreciate that.
guy who's like, who's like strong, but like
quick hands. Cha-cha.
trustworthy.
Okay.
I think you could do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That's your role.
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Cool. Okay. So he shows up to escort her to Morgase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we get again that this is the guardsman lieutenant, Talonvor.
Yes.
And Altima is thinking of how she can connect with an older, wealthy man, and she must find out how stuff like works here in Camelin.
Yeah, because it's different than Tyr. They're not so like, flashy with their wealth,
Yeah.
but Andor's pretty wealthy.
Right. So Altima is finally now in front of Morgase, and she notes that Morgase is much more beautiful than she ever remembered. Like she'd met her like once before.
Yeah.
And now she is like a freaking full bloomed rose.
Have you seen what she's wearing too?
Whoa.
It's like, whoa.
Whoa. Because she is dressed definitely different than she used to dress.
Yeah, not so modest anymore.
No, she's wearing this like ivory gown or something that is like clingier than Terabon silk dresses and lower cut than a Damani dress.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's really sad because she's like so under compulsion by Ravine
Yeah.
and just being used as an object. Like it's horrible.
oh, it's not great.
Yeah.
Because Altima thinks, oh, she's dressed definitely to show that she has a lover whom she's trying to impress.
Whom is never actually right.
That's not accurate. Whom she's trying to impress.
Okay.
So, it doesn't matter. Now, that's bad because Altima's like, oh, I can tell that Morgase is doing the impressing here,
Yeah.
which means that this Lord Gabriel must be the shit.
And also, Altima's like, I gotta make sure that I'm not perceived as trying to like hit on Gabriel or steal him away because that'll
Yeah.
straight up get me hanged real fast.
Well, and Altima has come from a place of this like cheating and scheming and stealing other people's husbands' business. And so she's like, oh, I don't want that to be perceived here. But like, that's not going to be perceived here.
Different rules.
Yeah. So now Altima is doing some intel gathering. She notes that Morgase has on her great serpent ring. And it's kind of weird because there's supposed to be this break between the tower and Andor. And when Morgase asks Altima about her husband, Altima has to shuffle her plan a little bit because Morgase knows more about her than she thinks.
She wasn't expecting Morgase to like be on the relationship status of like it's complicated or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think that like how's your husband is a little bit of a backstab, like a little bit of a I know that you tried to murder your husband and your lover.
Really? Really? Okay. It's just like
I think that she's got some intel.
Okay. There's kind of two ways to perceive it, where it's like Morgase is doing that intentionally, and the other, we get a view of her head and like the fogginess that's going on, and it's
fair.
like, is she barely functioning right now as a real person? Because we also get where, and I just kind of want to point this out with the whole Great Serpent ring, she thinks about, she's wearing the ring, but we know there's a huge breaking between Andor and the tower, and then when she asks about the tower, and she asks about that kind of stuff, Morgase snaps at her, but then she immediately flips the script and is like, but my daughter Leane is in the tower studying, and she's already accepted. So
yeah,
it's like,
that happens actually in a little bit. You're jumping ahead,
but the thing is that Morgase is flip-flopping so fast and so hard right now. Is like, at what level is she actually functioning as a person?
Well, because Altima thinks Morgase doesn't even know her own feelings towards the tower.
Yes, and that's kind of the point. So it's like, what's the how much is she aware of right now in reality?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it could be intentional in a sense, and that's why Altima's like, maybe I can't so openly be like trying to look for a suitor.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm just like confused by everything that's happening. That I'm trying really hard to piece it together, and I'm just like not quite sure what's going on.
That's okay.
Thanks for clarifying things. Maybe next time I'll get it. So this is where Altima switches the topic to Rand al'Thor, and Morgase recalls the account of meeting Rand and says that out loud that Elaida warned her of him.
Yes.
And then this is where we sort of get that with Morgase, the White Tower seems to be this like hot button issue, and she like snaps at Altima and then talks about Leane, and then this is the
flip-floppy, like what's actually happening. So, and how does the compulsion works, where it's like, if she's ordered or told in this compulsion, like, don't be nice about the tower stuff.
Well, and we know that Ravine is going to be careful about how much to compel her. Like, if there's a level, because we saw that Grandal was like compelling people to like be her footstool,
like utter devotion to the next level.
Where it's just like constant making them think everything, like nothing of their own thoughts. Yeah, but then if it's like Morgase as a queen, like, you're wasting them. Yeah, and so I think that Ravine maybe has her slightly less compelled, so that he can still control her, still have her devoted to him, but then also lets her sometimes think of her own thoughts. Yeah, like be a functioning human, sort of, on some level, so it doesn't also like raise suspicion. Right, but he also comes in here right away and is surprised that she has a guest. Yeah. The fact that he didn't know that this was happening seems to be a problem. Yeah, definitely. But this is where Altima continues talking about her observations about Rand in the Stone of Tyr, and he's the real dragon reborn, and she's afraid to remain there if he rules there. This is her, like, rehearsed speech. She's, like, planting her seeds so that she can, like, make connections with Morgase here. Yeah, and then Morgase bites and asks about Rand, and so Altima goes on with her plans. Yep. And tells her about how Rand is dangerous and hanging lords and... Oh my god, breeder of anarchy! Oh my god. Changing rules for rich people. I hate it! It's the worst. God. And so Morgase asks about the Aiel rumors, and Altima confirms they're great savages, stealing everything and killing everyone. Yeah, they're terrorizing everyone everywhere. Yeah. And they took whatever they wanted from the stone. Stealing everything. It's like, we know that that's not true. Yeah. Liar. It's just less than a fifth. Yeah, they did take less than a fifth, and they were owed the fifth. Yeah, well, to their custom. That's a pretty good custom. For them. So, but Altima mentions that they've all left now, Rand included, and Morgase fears that Rand is in Cairhien. Yeah. And then Lord Gabriel enters and interrupts. Yes. And we know that this is Ravine. Yes. And so Altima notes his demeanor and appearance because he is 100% in charge here.
Yeah, and we get like a half a page of description of like how she's viewing him as like the big dude and, you know, all these things imposing and...
Yeah, and so Gabriel asks her if she came from Tyr, and Morgase answers and goes to tell him about like what their conversation has been.
Yeah, basically everything.
And Ravine cuts her off, and she looks irritated for a second.
Yep, and then flips.
And then smiles and gazes at him.
Yep.
And so Gabriel has had enough of this and like literally sends her to bed to have a rest. In like
you're
the
tired.
middle of the morning.
Go to sleep.
And Morgase is like, yes, I am tired. I will go have a sleep now. These are not the droids we're looking for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good moment, right?
She's basically
like,
a puppet right now is what's happening.
You gotta say that this is a Jedi mind trick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's a good one.
Okay, thanks. So now Morgase is gone, and Gabriel asks Altima why she's come, and he wants the absolute truth, and she certainly gives it under compulsion.
Yes, and we get a few notes where Altima feels like chills running through her body a few times.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, you know, and she thinks it's just
yeah.
like shivers, but it's like clearly Ravine is doing something to like, you know, start this compulsion. And then when he asks the question, she 100% does exactly the same thing that Nynaeve and Elaine did back when they got compelled by Moghedien.
Right.
It's like the same thing.
Like wanting to please him, wanting to tell him everything that he wants to know, and not wanting to disappoint him. And so she gives him all the information, and now this is where the Harry Potter reference comes in.
Okay.
And it's such a duh moment. You have to tell me if you remember if we've done a shot for this already.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have.
Okay.
Related compulsion to the Imperious Curse.
I don't know what that is.
So, the Imperious Curse is one of the 3 unforgivable curses in Harry
there's
Potter.
the murder one.
Yeah.
The torture one.
Yep.
I don't know what the other one is.
This one. So, when cast successfully, this is from, I googled, I have the actual definition because I knew
I knew that, yeah.
And I wanted to be able to coherently say, so when cast successfully, it places the victim completely under the caster's control, though a person with exceptional strength of will is capable of resisting it.
Oh, yeah.
That's this.
100%. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say like the because don't they have like a truth type potion?
No,
something?
Veritum Serum. That's different.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is different. This is way more in line with the one that you said.
This is an unforgivable curse that's like not allowed.
Yeah, don't do it.
Prohibitado. That's how not allowed it is. But I had to copy and paste the like actual definition of it because I sort of knew about the whole like resisting it, but like not really. Like, and it being in there like this is so exactly the fucking
it's the same thing.
And this is like the first time in a long time
we've come
across something that's like almost exactly fucking the same.
I don't want to say ripped off, but
the same.
Yeah.
So that's a shot and a good one.
That is a good one. I will drink for that. That's good. And I just did a quick Google search, and can you guess what imperious means?
Control.
To compel.
Oh, no!
Yep, to intensely compel.
Does not.
Yes, it 100% does.
Because imperious is obviously Latin.
Yeah.
Because every spell in Harry Potter is like rough, terrible Latin.
Yep. Command, dominate, or intensely compel.
Yeah.
Same. But
She's
different.
never read these books, though.
But still same.
JK has never read fantasy. She doesn't read any fantasy books.
Got ahead. Okay, let's do this shot. That's great. Yeah, that's a good one. That's like way too close. And when you said that, I had an inkling, and I had to look up the definition to see if it was like. And it's
funny.
like, of course it is.
Yeah,
of course it is.
But so I actually wanted to do this last chapter because when I was reading it with the Grandal thing, completely controlling someone. When I was first reading it, I was like, oh my god, this is the Imperious Curse. And then when I was doing the notes and we were talking about it, like there was so much going on that I couldn't remember exactly what. And so I'm so happy it came back to me in this moment.
This is a great place for it too.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Oh, my entire mouth fills with saliva.
Oh yeah. It's vodka for you.
And then you got that sweet bubblegum aftertaste. We're gonna run out of this bubblegum vodka soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
Okay. Let's finish strong here.
Okay. Yeah, and after all the talk of compulsion and compelling, it's funny that nobody even like brought that one up to me.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did, and
maybe. I don't think we've talked about that before. Because we didn't know even the word compulsion until like last book, I think.
Like very end of last book with Morgase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we got the inkling that it was like compulsion.
Right. Yeah. And if somebody had brought that up to me, I'm so sorry I forgot.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I can't say for sure, but I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah. But anyway. So next, though, we have Gabriel wanting to know everything about Randall Thor, especially his friends, companions, and allies. And Altima doesn't hold anything back, of course, and she thinks that she can please him better than Morgase can.
Yeah, so I guess like Altima is just a puppet for Ravine now.
Oh, yep.
And one of the, because he has a bunch of them, right?
He collects the pretty ladies.
Yeah, he does, and he already had a few.
And he even thinks to himself, or he says it out loud or something, "You're pretty enough."
Yeah, just like
I'll
terrible.
You.
He's a Forsaken, right? Like that's what it is.
Okay. Evil baddie.
Evil bad guy.
Yeah. Okay. So we get a quick perspective change.
We do.
To Morgase being super confused, dazed, super compelled, and confused.
Yes, she's very confused. But the important part to pull out of this last little segment with Morgase...
She's fighting it.
She is subconsciously fighting back.
She's fighting so difficult. She's fighting so hard.
Her brain's working behind and we just got introduced to that kind of like last chapter 2 in the prologue about like if your mind is going to work behind the scenes, you have a chance of resisting.
Because we witnessed Nynaeve being so hard-headed,
like way more
strong-willed that she broke through a compulsion.
Yes, and that's kind of like strength of character.
And like being compelled. She broke it. Like she shattered being compelled.
Yes.
That's how Moghedien was so thrown off. Like she was taken off guard in that situation.
And then we got the answer as to why.
The answer in the prologue.
And now we're getting like a little bit of a tidbit where Morgase isn't as strong. She's trying.
And we got that she was sort of trying before in the Dread Reborn when she told Matt about that whole Shariam thing.
And I mean, she's getting like daily doses from what it seems.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's not like a Moghedien to Nynaeve exact comparison.
Not at all. But so in this scene, Morgase has gone to her bedchamber, and the like maids think it's super weird that she's going to sleep in the middle of the morning.
That's not a regular thing to do.
That's not a nap time.
Sometimes I wish that it was more like,
like
it's okay for me to go.
After you wake up, you just like go for a nap.
Some days.
Sometimes, yeah. But we get some like a series of very muddled thoughts trying to work her way through her brain, fighting the compulsion.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in her brain, it's like, oh, I said that I was going to go to bed. And she's like, wait, did I?
Did I, though?
Or did Ravine say?
And then she thinks about Gareth Bryne.
Yeah.
Oh, when was the last time I talked to him? Was it years ago? No, it doesn't seem like that, but it must have been. And like people telling her what to do. She ends up falling asleep and has troubled dreams running from something she cannot see.
Yes, which makes sense.
So is she gonna break through? Like, or has it been too long? Like, is she gonna just have to get rescued? Does Ravine have to die for this to stop? Like,
yeah, we don't know. We don't have enough answers.
This is so bad. But I have to tell you, I wanted to see more of this, and I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think that they're showing us this in chapter 1 because like maybe this will be a focus for a little bit.
Plot points.
Of like trying to get it resolved this book.
He usually likes to introduce topics at the beginning that are going to be possibly resolved at the end.
That'll possibly be the plot point for this book. And that's what I'm really hoping for. Like really, really.
So I need you to put it out there for the people.
I've already put it out there. But
put it out there again on record.
Yeah.
Who, if anyone, is going to save Morgase? We got a lot of contenders here.
I need it to be Elaine.
Okay.
And Elaine needs it to be Elaine.
Gotcha. Save your mom.
Save it. And Elaine needs that for her character growth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She needs to do something than just, like, being firm with a panarch. Like, that was a good start.
Step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Step it up.
Befriending a sea folk channeler, learning some good stuff. Like she's on the right path.
Yeah.
But for Elaine to feel good about herself and strong enough, I think that it needs to be Elaine who does this.
Okay.
Personally,
yeah, I
will be disappointed if it's anyone else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how strong I feel about this. Like Elaine needs to do this. Yeah. All right. And going forward, I hope that we're going to hear about what's going on. I took a sneak peek at the next chapter title.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Well, I couldn't help it.
Okay,
it's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
chapter
It's like right there.
ends on one page and the chapter's the next page. So the next chapter is called Ruidian.
Yeah, and you get to read 2 chapters because we are going back to 2 chapters now.
Yeah,
so.
we are. Yeah. And chapters for a little bit now are a little bit shorter
Yes.
than we had through the entire Shadow Rising. All of our episodes were so content heavy and so long. I think that maybe we're going to have some episodes coming out that like aren't 2 hours long and people are going to start feeling gypped and disappointed.
But like, remember the good old days when it's like 45 minutes for an episode?
Yeah. Well,
and I say good old days because like
shorter,
it's a lot, but you know.
Yeah, it's a lot for us, but it's like the new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the beginning of the Dragon Reborn? When nothing was happening for like freaking 800... No, not that long, but like so many pages.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you set out to go capture 3 women who like wronged someone in your village because you're bored with your life, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
That's all for now, but until next time, thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Danny and Brett, edited by Danny, produced by Danny and Brett with Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Feltz, Giannis, and Megan Smiley, with music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. And you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.